Hi, let us understand the purpose of global service and how to create them. Assume I do have a Swarm cluster, something like this, with 3 workers and a master. Global service is nothing but it's going to start one container per node. So basically, whenever I'm adding a new node, a container will get started. And this will be only one, and this will be only one container per node. And whenever I'm draining a node, automatically that particular container will also get deleted. At the same time, if I am adding a new worker into the Swarm cluster, a container of global service will also get started in that particular worker. I can have any number of global service. That many number of containers will get started in all the machines. And one more point to be noted, master will also act like a worker that will also facilitate to provide the containers. As you had seen in the earlier demo, that will also be having the Docker daemon and it will be serving the containers through the master as well. So the simple logic is the number of containers per global service will be equivalent to the number of nodes within the Swarm cluster. Let's see a small demo. Let me log into the master of my Swarm cluster, and before getting into the master, let me make sure the IP address is refreshed within the security group. As I do have dynamic IP address, it gets updated on a regular basis. That is around 24 hours it will get updated. So I am into the security group. Let me check the inbound rules and change the IP address so that automatically it will pick my IP address and add it as a part of the rule. Now let me get into the instance. I'm going to copy the DNS. And always it is recommended to keep the nodes in the stop state whenever you are not working so that the cost would get reduced. I am into the master. Let me check the number of nodes available. Docker node ls. So I do have 3 nodes. Let me check the services available. Docker service ls. I don't have any service. Let me go ahead and start a service with the mode as global. The other one where I'm going to define how many number of replicas, that is called distributed. Docker service create the mode. I'll mention it as global. And name of the service, I'll name it as nginx-global and I'll use nginx image. It's going to pull the image and it will identify the number of nodes. I do have 3 nodes within this cluster, that is 1 master and 2 workers, and it is going to deploy 1 task per node, and so it will be deploying 3 tasks. Let me see the details about the service. Docker service ps nginx-global. So I do have 3 tasks running, 1 per node. Let me go ahead and drain a node for test purpose. Docker node update availability drain and then the IP address. Let me use this particular host. Let me check the nodes available. Docker node ls. So the state got changed to drain, and so I do have only 2 active nodes, and if I check the number of active containers or active tasks, it should be only 2. Docker service ps nginx-global. So 1 got shut down, which was in the host name with IP address 234. And the same behavior was there for the replicator task as well, but what it does, it's going to start the task in some other different host to make sure the desired capacity is same as the number of tasks. Now let me go ahead and change the availability of the node as active. So for this particular node, I'm going to change the availability as active. Let me check the details about the node. So it started a task in the machine with the IP address 234. So global service, what it does, it's going to start 1 container per node for that specific service. The main purpose of this type of services are to deploy the services for monitoring or logging for any applications, or even for the infrastructure monitoring and logging, we can use this. So what happens, every node will have that specific container and it does the job in terms of monitoring as well as sending out the log to some third-party analysis tools. A very good example is Prometheus. So in a quick summary, we had seen what is the purpose of global services and how to create the global service and check how the containers are getting started for the global service.